Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years, but only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed.
Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. don't see. What's yours for the taking tonight?
Oh my goodness. I didn't turn on the monitors back there. I want all that juju moving. Well, I might not. Yeah, I'm still turning them on, but I might not. That tells me something. That tells me that the juju is already here because my guest, who's down in the green room, hi down there, has brought it. Are you guys ready? I hope you are. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. Got my remotes ready. Dr. Lauren here with you. And today, I've got some goodness for you. The guest today is so inspiring, and she is ready to pour into you. Risa August is here. I'll get to her in just a second. But first, let me say how awesome you are and how awesome it is to be here with you. Why is it important that we come together whenever we can? And here on Bathrobe Moments, it's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central, 50 straight weeks a year. It is because the moment we agree to meet, to be here, to pour into each other, we open the spigot, if you will, the spigot, turn it on, to spiritual goodness. We really do. There's a promise that states that where two or more of us comes together in agreement, spiritual magic ensues. So there's the bell of purpose. It's here every day. I don't ring it on accident. I ring it, you guessed it, on purpose. So why is it here? It's not a gimmick. It is not a stage prop. It's more of an opportunity, if you will, because just like that bell has a ring to it, that's right, so does the truth. And I know we're busy. I want to ring it to remind us, tune in. When you hear it, it means something great you don't want to miss. Pick it up, take it with you. You'll be glad you did. That's the bell of purpose. Usually at this time, I introduce my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, my mug, but she's getting her roots dyed. That's code for she's in the dishwasher. Anyway, she'll be back tomorrow. So I'm just so anxious. Who's here today? Who is it? Well, her name, I love her name, Risa August. She's a Colorado-based author, speaker, Gestalt Practitioner, and a patient advocate. Now, she's been living with a pituitary tumor and a rare disease for well over a decade, and she shares her insights and her perspectives on stage. She offers words of inspiration to audiences, and good news for you, possibly me, she works one-on-one with people. Yes, so we're going to get into that today. And she says she considers herself a girl with sparkles in her hair, and she was once an Ironman athlete, but she still has a passion for her bike and her barbells. So we are going to let her finish that because I like to give the audience a chance to just gel, vibe, if you will, with the guest instead of just reading all of a bio. So at that, now that I've said that, boy, wait a minute. I need some hot coffee to loosen up my arthritic jaws. Hold on. There you go. Okay, here she comes. Put some hearts on the screen. It's our way of saying welcome. Let's get started. I hear her coming down the hall now. Risa August in the house. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Oh my gosh, you're looking fabulous.
Well, let me be completely transparent. See, that's why this stuff isn't ready. Honestly, I'm so glad you're here. It's a special day. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Why I know you're so incredibly anointed. Let's call it that. This morning, not long ago, honestly, I'm not gonna get into it because I'm better now. But thank God, my friend Sanjeev Chopra, Deepak's brother, he called me this morning, and I was sitting in this chair in tears. I really was sitting in this chair in tears. My spirit was just in pain. And so he came and just, you know, it's that sort of that thing. You have people in your life where they just seem to know. It's that break glass in case of emergency kind of thing. And the universe sends them in to swoop you up. And that's what happened to me. So I am back on, at least out of there. Now I just got to dry myself off from being dipped in whatever it was and look for the reason. That's it. So that tells me how powerful you are. And I want to hear your story because I know it's gonna provide the towel for me to get all of that off. So Sanjeev started it, and I have no doubt that you're going to complete it. So before we get started, I'm going to move out of the way for about 60 seconds. Let you create your vibe with the audience, say hello, then I'll come back and we'll
officially get started with the interview. Sound okay?
Okay, sounds
Okay, so all you take it away.
okay. Hi, my name is Risa August, and I'm based in Colorado. And I'm a Gestalt practitioner, a speaker, an author. I just published my first book, The Road Unpaved, and it talks about my journey through diagnosis with a tumor at the base of my brain and a rare disease called acromegaly. And also this epic bike trip I took from Canada to Mexico down the Pacific coast. And so I'm here to spread awareness around these tumors because they're believed to not be so rare, and also inspire others. And I guess we'll get into that a little more, how I ended up on this journey. But good morning, and thank you so much for being here. It means so much to me. I think you're muted.
I am. Thank you. Rookie mistake. Because I'm back here trying to get all this stuff going. You know why I do this back here?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the Hertz thing. It says, yeah. And I need all the help I can get today.
And we're in Mercury retrograde too. So
Are
things
you,
are a little wild.
Are we?
Yes.
You know. Are you serious?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Go. Oh, it is going. Okay. I did not know. Well, that explains a lot. Usually when that happens, everybody has something going on. Now okay. See? Thank you for the towel. I see what I mean? Let's start there. That right there. Would you have ever thought when you got up this morning that something as simplistic as just putting me up on the truth, we're in Mercury retrograde, could help someone who just less than an hour ago? I mean it. I was just sitting here I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the show. And so let's talk about it. One thing I want to ask right off the bat, because I've heard it to be true. I don't know what it means. And I'm not afraid to admit it. The Gestalt Practitioner. Talk about that. What is that?
Yeah, so Gestalt is a loose German term for wholeness. And it's a holistic approach to therapeutic practices. It's very experiential and non-traditional approach to healing. And like I said, therapy or coaching.
Okay. So you do all these things. Let's talk about the girl that was the Ironman athlete. Let's go pre-diagnosis.
Okay.
The girl that was her, as far as your spiritual walk and your journey, what did that look like before?
Well, she was extremely rigid, extremely detailed, organized, super intense. And so anything I did over the top. It had to be perfect. I had to be the best at it. I had to be good at everything I did, everything I tried. If I wasn't good at it, I didn't like it.
You didn't like, and people like that, Olympic athletes, people that really go for those gritty things, that's what you hear. Okay. So, and the reason I did that, because I wanted to give everyone, including myself, a reference point. Did you feel what was your spirituality like then?
Oh, I'm not sure I had any kind of spirituality.
Okay. All right. See? Okay. See, you guys, let's connect the dots here. Because here's why I'm doing this. Because the topic, you heard Risa say, been living with this tumor in my brain. I mean, I can't think of a scarier place. Lungs, brain, those two, you're kind of like, anywhere you have the C word.
Excuse me. But then something like this happens. Take us to the day. This is where I like to go. Things in our life happen where we wake up a certain version of ourselves. And at the time when our feet hit the floor, we have no idea that we will never wake up that person again. That happened to me. When I woke up one day, I was with my mom, The very next day I woke up, she was gone. Mm-hmm. She wasn't in this world anymore. I woke up the next day and I had a new name, all these different things. So it happens. So here's where I like to go. Take us back as much as you can to the day you found out. Because when you say you didn't have a spirit, not much, I don't think I had much of a spiritual walk. So then what did you reach for?
Yes. And it wasn't that I didn't explore different faiths, but I certainly, it's like I knew all about them, but I didn't actually practice anything. And so going to this day, it was pretty surreal. And I was sitting in the endocrinologist's office. Yeah. I didn't know what an endocrinologist was. I didn't know what I was doing there. This doesn't happen to me. I don't know. And I'm staring at my skull, an image of my skull on the screen. And there's this massive gray blob just lodged right between my eyeballs. And I just remember the endocrinologist saying, well, this has got to come out. And I'm just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I got to get on with my life. I don't know what I'm doing here. So it took a while to sink in. I think I was still in my old Risa place, even through this new diagnosis and surgery and all that. I was like, well, no, I'm going to beat this. I have total control over everything in my life, right? Because that was my thing. I had to control everything. And so I would have to say it wasn't until roughly 4 to 6 months later where I started surrendering to something more than me. Yeah, I started realizing, oh, I'm not in control. I'm not in control at all.
Wow. To me, and see, a lot of us, I know I am. I'm going. I did not expect you to give us a time frame so long. I thought within a week. Okay, I got to get out of bed. Really, I'm picturing what I think I might do, how I might respond to it. But the 6-month mark was not what I expected. But what it does tell me is that, see, that's the great thing about spirit. That's the great thing about source, God, whatever you call it. Even though we didn't know them, they certainly knew us. You know what I mean? And thank God for that, really. So you got the diagnosis. Okay, now here comes the other part. Even if you're strong, because I told you this when we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I have a niece, and she was here for Easter, actually, and she's been living with a brain tumor the size of a lemon right on the base of her medulla oblongata, is what she said. And I've seen all the things that she's dealt with, and it's just remarkable how, and I always remind her of the beacon. She's a lighthouse, just like you're a lighthouse, because we're never given more than we can handle. You see what I'm saying? You have the thing that would be too heavy for me, clearly. And I have the thing that might be too heavy for you, and so on and so forth. So let me ask you this. What was the struggle? Because this is what I hear. With people around you. Sometimes they, because of the way what I just went through. When you were telling me 6 months, remember? I said I was thinking about how I do it. Talk a little bit about the people around you. How do people that know you as Risa, the athlete, and this and the other, now they're crying and you're not. Now, you see what I mean? They're panicking and you're not. What was that like?
Yeah, well, I think I was still in this, I'm going to prove to everyone, I'm going to show everyone this doesn't have me. Like, you know, I'm going to heal and I'll be right back to it. I'll be right back to my detailed oriented job and on my bike again. And, you know, I'm going to show everyone that I'm going to beat this. I'm going to beat this. Like, you know, there was no one else in there with me. I had total control in my mind. And so I think I almost feel like they believed me. Like I was really good at putting on a show. I mean, I had really had quite the facade going. And meanwhile,
I'm sorry. Did you have any believers in your circle, in your family who were like, oh, here, let me pray for you? Where you had control, you thought, and there were those who thought, no, girl, you're going to need some Jesus. You know, how did you, you know what I'm saying? Because I come from a Seventh-day Adventist background, my family, and that's their answer for everything. Let's just pray it away. You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost like an excuse half the time. Like you don't have to do anything, just pray. And I don't believe that either. We co-do everything. So tell me about, what was it like? Did they help draw you out of your solidarity, your what do you call that? Your solo world? What was the experience? Who started whispering into you?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. There actually were people in my community that would say, oh, we'll pray for you, or talk to your angels, or they'd send me, you know, maybe meditation audios and call in your Archangel Michael.
Yes.
And I remember being so deeply grateful that everyone was doing this for me.
Pouring into you?
Yes. But it was almost like, okay, yeah, I'll take what I can get. And then I'll still do it on my own, you know? So I was grateful and I heard it, but it took, like I said, it didn't seem.
I just got to download. Do you know what they showed me you were doing? It was like when somebody brings a fruit cake, a bunch of people bring a fruit cake at Christmas, and you go, oh, thank you. And the minute they leave, you go put it in a closet, a pantry or someplace. Not another fruit cake. There's like hundreds of fruit cakes in there. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, you were gracious, but you didn't really think you'd use it.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So when did you start using it? And what was it? What was the first thing that you remember that we were like, wait a minute, this isn't really me? What's going on here?
Yes. Oh gosh, I feel myself getting a little emotional.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you're talking to the guy that was crying an hour ago. So, you know, let me just say this at this point while you get it. It's okay. I have just recently, they've told me, don't apologize for your tears, whether they're of joy or of pain or of sorrow. Tears merely represent that you still have something in your life that matters. It means so much. There are people who cut themselves and burn themselves trying to make themselves feel emotion.
Yeah.
So we're not as bad as others. You know, I complained about my shoes until I saw the man with no feet. So go ahead. Take us there.
Yes. Well, I think reflecting back, like you said, I think the angels, and sometimes I say source or universe. I think there was something there all along with me, like you were saying. But it wasn't really until I remember I was sitting on the sofa, and another day on the sofa in these tattered gray sweatpants. And I just remember thinking, I need something to live for. And yeah.
I know. I remember that moment. That's powerful. Look, we can talk about that right there.
We can talk about that. You know how it came in for me? I'll be honest. And it's so miraculous how the same syllables of healing, that the syllables that make up the words, or the power of healing, how it makes its way to us comes so differently, but leaves us with the same outcome. I remember I was in the heat of an addiction, and I was asked, hey, if you we were to give you this, and I refer to everything other than as everything greater than me. That's how I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm not going to list you individually. I'm just going to say greater than. You see? And so I was sitting there in my car, just a mess. And I heard the question, if we could change all of this with you, they didn't say for me, with you, and give you all the things, provide all the things so that you can do everything you've ever dreamed of, Lauren, and more. But the only condition was you'd have to be willing to die for us. Would you do it? And I said, yes. No hesitation. But then they said, okay, same question. Except, would you be willing to do it if it meant you had to live for us? Suddenly, crickets. I didn't know if I could. And I didn't even know that was a thing. That was a big turning point for me. You see what I'm saying? Right. So I get it. I get it, Risa. I really do. So let's go to this. When did you start realizing that a lot of this was so that you noticed more and more people were finding their way to your door? They tell me you started. Here I am, the one who needs the healing, but it seems I'm doing more of that for others. They say that was a big revelation for you. Tell us about that.
Yes. It actually started with me deciding I was going to ride my bike from Canada to Mexico.
And this is after the diagnosis?
Yeah, this was after brain surgery and radiation treatment.
So you did have the brain surgery?
By this time, yeah.
Okay. So what did people think you were up to? Did you hear what she's planning?
Yeah. So I had the brain surgery, and that's when about 3 months after that, I realized I was no longer going to be the same. Nothing in my body my body wouldn't operate the same. My brain, my mind, nothing was going to be the same.
How much space, how much difference, like 10%, 15%, how different do you think it is, the old you and the new you?
Oh gosh.
Night and day?
Yes.
Wow.
I believe so. If you gather up everything together about me, I feel like it was a 180.
So what about people that have known all of you? Or when you say, remember, I don't know if you still have these, but photo albums, like when you're going through a photo album and you see the previous version of yourself, do you look at her and go, oh, I remember her, I miss you? Or do you feel like she is still here, just she's had a makeover?
I think there's elements I miss. Like yesterday, I was actually, feeling sad about. I went from being one of the strongest women in my gym to now I'm the weakest. And I remember.
How do you know that? How do you know you're the weakest?
Oh, because I just know. I just know I am, because I know everyone else's ability in the gym, and my disease causes muscle weakness.
Muscle weakness. Well,
Yeah.
because I was like weak in spirit, weak in, there's
definitely not in spirit.
Okay.
And so when I reflect back of that old athlete, sometimes I have moments of like, wow. And but on the flip side of that, oh my gosh, I love myself, this version of myself, way better than that version.
Really?
I do.
What is it you love most?
Oh my gosh. Well, I am way more compassionate and understanding and patient. And I mean, my whole perspective on life has changed. Nothing is that big a deal. I'm more laid back, and I mean, the list goes on. I can't even describe. I just view the world differently now. And
Wow.
yeah, and I
Wow.
have a lot more patience and compassion.
Just again, man, you are boy. If you all receive downloads, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes someone's in your presence and they just come flying in like someone's playing darts. I mean, they're coming in hot. I want to ask you this question. Well, it's also, before I get to the question, it seems like there's been an emery board taken to you. You know, the hang nails. There's, it's like when you have one of those comforters that's one thing on one side, a big pattern, and then it's all nice and peaceful on the other side. Or, you know what I mean? It's just, there's dimensions to us. There are dimensions, and you have a new dimension. But I want to ask you this. I can't wait to ask this question. Anyone who's ever had a surgery, you can chime in. I've only had, in my adult life, one. I had my tonsils out as a kid at the time, but my knee replacement about 6 years ago. And I want to ask you about what the conversation in your head was like when they were wheeling you towards the surgical suite. You know, when you're in there and they're pushing you and you're looking up and you see the lights moving, and everything is bright and light. People are walking past and they're turning corners, and you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
What was that conversation like, if you're comfortable talking about it?
Yes. So I remember just before surgery, someone told me to envision the operating room and to envision angels in all the corners of the operating room. And I remember getting wheeled in, and I was a little out of it. And I remember initially, this is kind of my humor, but I remember at first looking like a giant meat locker. But then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, this operating room looks just the way I envisioned it prior to entering. And so I thought about all the angels in every corner.
Yeah.
And then I asked the anesthesiologist to give me a little pep talk in the middle of surgery and just let me know I'm doing an awesome job.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you ever look at, it's like this. I tell people all the time, especially when it comes to trauma and things, I say, I love trauma. I love the trauma that I've lived. I do now. I love it. Why? Because I couldn't have gotten here any other way. It sharpened me in a way that nothing else could. It has provided and still continues to provide protection that bodyguards could not provide me. And people don't understand that. They go, what? And so would you, if you had, what do you think? Would you have rather lived a full life, your entire journey, as that strong athlete, still, traveling and doing her things, the strongest in the gym at 60, 70, 80, and not have what you have because of it? You see what I'm saying? Would you rather had lived? Do you ever think about that?
I do, and I can answer that immediately.
Go for it.
No way. I love where I'm at right now. I love who I am. I'm a way better person than I used to.
And the thing is, Risa, that's why your work is so, so, so very important. And all of us, including all of you, this is to encourage you that it's never about one thing. And it oftentimes proves to us things that nothing else could. There's no way of knowing how strong you are, how powerful you are. And here's the best part for me. I have found that moisture, that living fluid, if you will, that allows my soul's thirst to be quenched. My soul came to this experience thirsty for the things that I am living. And I think it's important that when you get this, like you have gotten in, and so many of us, and we still are, every day evolving, reaching for our higher selves, to pass it forward to people, who haven't come to that juncture yet. They're not at that intersection yet, but in many cases it is coming. So I want to talk to you about, I want you to talk to the audience, talk to us about the process for you. Was it easy? Was it difficult? What were some of the tips? What are some of the tips that you offer your clients that just can't see what you already know, but you know that day can come should they want it? What are some of the tips in order to get past these things, or to accept something you didn't expect to come, and not be all fearful and, oh, woe is me?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I learned to become very present. I used to live well into the future, and yeah, and I became much more present, and I stopped focusing on what I could no longer do, and I started focusing on what I could do. And so I would ask myself one simple question. I took the word can, C-A-N, and I asked myself, well, what am I capable and able to do now in this moment? Capable, able, now, can. What can I do?
What can I do?
And some mornings that was like, well, I can get out of bed. Oh gosh, some mornings I actually got out of bed, brushed my teeth, and got dressed. Oh my gosh. And then eventually I was walking to the mailbox. And then before I knew it, I was riding 1,800 miles down the coast.
Wow.
So when I find myself in these challenging moments, yeah, what am I capable and able to do now in this moment? What can I do? And that really simplified it for me. I didn't have to take on the whole world. I didn't have to figure it all out right now. I just had to focus on the moment and what was right in front of me.
See, that's so, everyone knows Eckhart Tolle, the power of now, all these things, living in the moment. And then you started doing all these other things, hip hop classes and Bollywood and just all, was it Bollywood I saw?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Aerialist things, boxing class, indoor skydiving. So let's talk about this piece, the shifting of perspective. How did you find your way to a formula that worked? Did you pick up a book? Did you journal? Did you meditate? How did you shift your perspectives?
I think honestly, it was that moment on the couch where I think the shift started there. And like I said, I used to be so closed and rigid and focused. And then all of a sudden I'm pulling out my bucket list and I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm freed up to do and try all the things I ever wanted to do and try. And it doesn't matter if I'm good at them or not. I don't really care. And so I just started checking things off this list of all the things I wanted to do and try. If I loved it, I went back and did it again. And like I've done a silks aerialist class numerous times now. And Bollywood, I was not as graceful as the instructor, but I still loved it and had so much fun. I am brilliant axe thrower. Who knew I could?
You are?
Bullseye, yes, every time. So, yeah, and boxing actually was very therapeutic for me. So I just stayed open to everything that's out there.
And do you find you're surprising yourself over and over again?
gosh, yes. Oh my God.
I think that's awesome. I think it's good for us to surprise ourselves, but not to live in a state of surprise as far as blessings. I think we should expect them, right? Because it's like, what? Oh, man. I want you to do this, though, because this is a big piece for a lot of us, including myself. That's what I'm just going to be real with it. It's what I said, imposter syndrome, but it's not just that. This is a better reference to what was really going on with me just an hour ago. Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are powerful if we allow them. Talk about that and how it has helped you to be able to serve your clients in that aspect because you were forced in a way. So tell us about your experience with limiting beliefs and give us some hope for those who are struggling with that particular piece, if you could.
Yes. Well, back to my tattered gray sweatpants on the couch, 6 months following brain surgery, 6 weeks of radiation treatment, and I could barely get off the couch, let alone walk down to the mailbox. And I remember thinking, well, who am I now if I'm no longer this old Risa, this athlete, this, what good am I if I'm not the detailed wedding and event planner or organized person? And again, I started redirecting my focus on, well, what can I do? What's possible? And I made it to the mailbox that one day, and it was really hard. And, but like I said, it turned into an 1,800-mile bike journey.
Who knew?
Who knew? And I remember thinking, I will never limit myself again. I will never limit myself in my belief again. It might look different. It might not go exactly according to plan, but it doesn't mean it's not possible.
Amen. Risa, what kind of people, what does your ideal client look like? What kind of person works best with you, if there is one type? I don't think there's one type, but what do people come to you looking for more frequently than not?
Most of my clients come to me because they're feeling stuck in their life or uninspired. They know there's more. They know they're more expansive. They just don't know who they are, what that looks like, or how to get there. But they're definitely eager to find out. And so that's mainly who I'm working with. Right now.
Great. Anything? Tell us about things that are coming up for you down the road of 24 that we can support you in. Any stages? What are you doing? What do you want us to know about? Talk about the book.
Okay.
Let's talk about the book.
Well, I'm very excited about my book, The Road Unpaved, Border to Border with a Brain Tumor and a Bike. I had no idea how much people would love it, and I wanted it to be a great story. And I'm getting amazing feedback from it. It's on paperback, ebook, and I narrated it under the audiobook. So, and
what was that like, by the way? How long did it take you?
It took me 41 days with 4 rest days. And lots of rain. Washington and Oregon, lots of rain, pretty cold, sleeping in my tent.
It took a whole team, right?
There was 9 other people sharing the van that I also used to transport my gear. And I talk all about this and all the different characters in my book. And yeah, and like I've won 3 awards for the book already.
No doubt. And more to come.
And I have some author signings coming up, and yeah, so I would love any support. As you know, Dr. Lauren, reviews are gold in the author book world. So that's another great thing. the support.
Where's the best place? Are you self-published? Some people want you to go to Amazon. Some people want you to get it off of their website. What's the best way to grab your book?
So my book is definitely on Amazon in all formats. And you can also go to my website, risaaugust.com. And on my book page, I have a whole list of other options. Some people like to support local or smaller bookstores, things like that. So I also offer that option on my website.
What would your words of advice be to anyone who thinks because they're not the pristine, right off the showroom floor model of themselves as they once were, and they feel like if I'm not he or she, I'm nothing at all, you know? And here I'm going to give you two that you can take us all the way out with. So there's that and this piece. Explain to people, because I know you know. I just got the download. Tell her to talk about this. A lot of us think, and that was the thing with me this morning. Why am I quit picking on me? Is the difference between loss and failure. They're not the same. You know, when you lose something for whatever reason, it's not a failure always. And sometimes when you know where I'm going. They say you know this. So can you help me out here? Because you see I'm stumbling over my words.
Oh my gosh. Wow. These are big questions.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Well, as far as the first question goes, oh my gosh, where do I start? I just want to say you're all fabulous. You're all amazing. You all have your own gifts.
There you go.
And if you're at your lowest, find that one strand, that one sliver of silver lining. I wake up every morning and name the things I'm grateful for. And I go to bed every night and name the things I'm grateful for. And just that simple practice, saying that out loud, brings that awareness. Even if I'm in the most stubborn, resistant headspace, just that simple practice helps me realize.
Sanjeev told me this morning to do that. He said, write down 3 things, Lauren, today that you are grateful for. You're absolutely right. See what I mean? Did you guys see what happened there? She's like, oh, it's a big question. She questioned whether she had the answer and went straight to it. Why? Because you reminded me of what was already sent into my space for me. And then you confirmed it. Now I wrote it down, which locks it in. I'm going to do it. See what I'm saying? Don't question what you know. Don't question what you know. Just give it away.
Thank you.
Don't worry about how it sounds or how it will land. Push it off the cliff, just like you jumped off and grew your wings on the way down. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Now, the last question. Take us out with that other one.
The last question. Yes. Failure to me is an interesting word. I think it has a different definition for everyone. Yeah. But my dear friend, Marcia, who mentored me, said, you can't get it wrong, so you may as well have a nice day. And I really took that to heart. There really is no wrong. It's just re-navigating your path. So, you run into a boulder, you either go around it, over it, or through it. You can't get it wrong. So go have an amazing, incredible day.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, you were in Women's World magazine, correct?
I was, yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I was in an article for Women's World magazine it was actually for side hustles. And I have a side business where I do silk hair sparkles. And I don't know if you can see some of them in my hair glistening, but I do it because it brings so much joy and happiness. It makes people smile. And And that's the sole reason I do it. It's such, and I will always have them in my hair because they make me smile as well.
Look at that. Lucky locks. See? And did you do this before the tumor?
No, this came after. And this is all about filling my world with joy and possibility. And I'm not a hair person, but man, oh man, this just lifts a mood.
For the second time today in this interview, who knew? See, I just love that because let's see, we're not asking questions, but really we are, but these are easy ones. That's what I meant by last question. Your family. You know how people will panic when they think, oh my God, we can't lose her. This, that, and then they can be overprotective and this and the other. And how did this grow your family, or how did this change or impact them watching you come through this? I get a feeling a lot of people say, I had no doubt, because they knew how strong-willed you were. Do you think your will, how much of this success or getting through this, like you saw it, was just plain will, grit? Let me put it this way. If you had just given up, do you think you would still be here? Gray sweatpants, they tell me to tell you.
I would be barely existing.
Your body might be here, but your spirit would be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I really believe, I'm just going to say, I want to meet those. I wrote it down. Tattered gray sweatpants. I sure hope you still have them. Do you?
I believe I do. Yes.
You need, because when you're on the stage and because I wanted to see them, because you owe them a debt of gratitude.
Yes. Yes.
Those tattered gray sweatpants could be your next book.
Okay.
Could be your next book, because with the power of healing is found sometimes in the most obscure places. But if you seek, that's another promise, you shall find. And that was the thing. When you thought you could get, you didn't have to go to Johns Hopkins. You didn't have to go to, some island to get your head together. You just needed to be right there with those tattered gray sweatpants and listen to what they were saying to you and act on it. And you did. And look where they got you.
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing. I'm telling you, I'm doing the, it feels like your story. I'm not kidding you, Risa. It feels like I've been dipped in spiritual freon. It is because it is a very powerful story, and I know you're going to change a lot of lives. You already are. Continue to do so. Just so very proud of you, and so proud to know you. Listen, you guys, there is, scrolling along the bottom, Risa's, I've been over there. It's a beautiful website. There's a lot more information there that we didn't get to cover. You can get the book there. You can find out about her coaching and a whole bunch of other things. Her healing modalities and whatnot. Get over, and you might even sign up to get some sparkles put in your hair. Let me ask you, have you ever glued them to a bald head?
I haven't, but there's always a first time.
Oh, God. Let me know how that works out. Listen, I just love it. If you ever have the need to come back to share your next great accomplishment, feel free. The turnstile invitation, which means the doors here are always open for you. Please use them, okay? And we're just so proud of you. Thank you so much for being the inspiration you are.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And listen, all of you out there, thank you so much for being there and for being non-judgmental and all the things that we need. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable and know that you're just there to pour into me like I hope we have poured into you day after day here. God bless you all. And send prayers, light, and love, and I will do the same. There is a woman, when Sanjeev was speaking to me this morning, he asked, I offered rather, and I'm going to pass that on to you all. He's in Italy with his wife on vacation, and their host, she slipped last night or something and fractured her shoulder. So her name is Asha. If you guys could send light, love, and prayers towards Asha, her speedy recovery and healing, that would be much appreciated. Now, as always, and when we close out the show, I tell you how important you are in the big scheme of things. Get out there today and do whatever you need to do to reach for just a little piece of your higher self. Do that and watch what happens. I'll meet you tomorrow morning, God willing, right over there on the front porch, where together we can have yet another illuminated conversation. And in closing, I always say, and I mean it, I love you, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Risa, thank you so much. Risa, you're a wonderful person. Bye, everybody. See ya.